Go on. Are we up to 50 yet? Great day for football.
Close enough.
Huh?
Close
50, we
enough.
signed 50?
Close enough.
That was a great day for football. Wow, so much hard work goes into that too, for everybody. Parents, kids, everybody, great stuff. So we tried to get back to some basics during this time. We felt that Western Michigan deserved a lot of credit in the way they played us and how well they played, and we had to get back to playing with the edge that we played with earlier in the year. And I think we've done that the last couple of days of practice. Air Force, a whole new challenge. You remember we played Holy Cross, and that was one of the few games we were down at half. If we'd been down at all, that was one of them. Same style, bigger team, Air Force bigger team, a little bit more experienced, and a real challenge for us. So we're going to we'll learn a lot. I do know that it made us a better team playing Holy Cross, and now playing Air Force is going to make us a better team, and hopefully it does with a victory. So I got Dave Pilipovich was an assistant here when I was first hired. He stayed around for like 3 weeks and showed so much class and dignity, even though he knew I wasn't going to retain him, just helping me through the transition. So really honored to be able to play the Air Force Academy. I think I played Navy a couple of times and had played West Point one time. But to play these kids, I have so much respect for them, these young men, and I'm sure they're going to give us a great game.
Mike? With some of the close games recently, have you noticed any difference in like intensity of practice or anything?
I mean, you're not going to be at every game all year long the exact same intensity. But I think attention to detail probably was the biggest slippage that we had. And there's a lot going on, and you have to have that. And you got to understand anybody can beat you. I mean, that was so close to being an upset with things that happened in that game. I mean, Charles and Xavier go 3 for 6 from 3. We probably would take that every day, right? And it's a whole different game. They go 5 for 6 from 3, we win. So it's really I think our kids learned a lot. Let's just say that.
Andrew?
Which I know this time of year you've talked about sort of self-scouting, kind of looking at the big picture,
Yeah.
your numbers and things like that. I'm wondering, if you've done that and kind of what might have jumped out or.
Yeah, we did a synergy on ourselves, and we can see some things, but there were some really good things there, Andrew, which I'm not going to tell you about, and there are some really bad things out there that I'm not going to tell you about. But there's different things that we have to address during the season, and our guys get to see that. We will tell them at the right time. It's got to be the right time. What we're how you're evolving and how the team is evolving and what we have to continue to change. But no, we're always looking at that. I mean, every game. And when not only that, Andrew, I look back at stats from last year, the year before. I'll go back to 13 and 14 and say, okay, how many assists did Nick Stauskas have at this time playing the 3 position? And it gives you it really makes everything very relative as opposed to just this season.
As far as Isaiah, I know in the past you've talked about him, not just being a 3-point shooter,
Yeah.
getting to the foul line more. In the numbers, it's not really happening for him in full.
Yeah.
I guess. Are you pleased with?
Well, he's becoming a little more aggressive at getting at the basket, and we're working with him at it as well. And he wants to do it, but it's not as natural as it is for some people. So we're trying to get there with him so he's a great foul shooter and be more than just a shooter. I think the last thing you want is a tremendous athlete that just shoots it. And so he's got to use that athleticism. And I guess the biggest issue is that we need him to do a lot of things right now. And so he has to continue to morph from position to position and still make it work.
Josh?
Touched on it briefly, but knowing your family history and all that stuff, what does it mean to you to be able to play a faction in the armed forces?
I mean, I just know what these, and I've had several friends that went to either Navy or Army that I know that know what they go through there to get to this point, and the discipline and sacrifice they have, and the coaches. I've had I know several guys that have coached at Navy and Army and Air Force. Just got great to do what they do and then be a student athlete. Those are the guys I want protecting our country. and they're all student athletes, I believe. I think they all play some sport. But to go to play in that conference, right, there's really good teams in that conference. To play that conference, and they're always in there in that conference. I get my hat goes off to them because they're tremendous kids, and like I said, we're proud to be able to play against them.
Jake?
I know I'm always thinking about some military state, the national anthem every year, every day, every game. I'm thinking about it. I'll be looking right at those dudes right across the way, saying, much respect. This is for you.
John, how helpful has it been with David? You guys kind of you don't need to like throw him in or rush him into the point guard position this season. I mean, I guess how helpful has it been?
Yeah, I think that he's continuing to just look at all this, and what happens right now is that, I mentioned it the other day, with 14 teams in our league, there's 14 different styles of play. I guess 14 different styles of play, and now it just never stops. That was my message in practice today for all our young guys. I've been watching Air Force for 2 days now, and I've been watching some other teams, and I just said, wow, why didn't I ever think of that? Right? I've been coaching all these guys. I'm supposed to know this stuff, and it was like an epiphany to me. And so my message to my players is, as long as you're going to play basketball, and many of you want to play now and after, you're going to keep learning. And I think that's the toughest thing, I think, for most freshmen. Oh, okay, I thought I had that down against Western Michigan. Now I got to throw out all my rules and get ready for Air Force. So that's the difficulty with him and everybody else, I think.
You talked about buying in. Is another hard thing, like committing themselves?
Yeah, that's not an issue. They try and buy in, but everybody is going to. The game's going to slow down for them. They're going to see it clearly at a different pace. Everybody's got a different learning curve, which I've probably said here 1,000 times in my tenure here.
We talk about guys playing multiple positions and things like that. But with Isaiah, is sometimes maybe taken a little bit for granted that he can just do all these things and it might not be overwhelming. Like, what if it is overwhelming sometimes?
I think that it is, and then we try to give him as much position. Like, this may be a game that they're not as big as Western. They don't have a big Seth Dugan in there, so you have a bunch of 6'7" guys where he may play center more in this game. Brandon Johns may play center more in this game. He's got to continue to morph, and I think that he will, as a intelligent young man, will become comfortable with everything. But there's no way he can be comfortable and have sweet spots just yet. And that is a difficult, and it takes a heck of a player to be able to do that. But we've had that before a little bit, like Novak would swing around and do what he could do to play a lot of different positions. I think Duncan could play either forwards at times. But it is difficult to do, and he's tackling it and doing the best he can.
How does his personality translate to the game?
He's such a terrific kid, and that's what we always have said. It's not a negative. But we've got the good. You've heard me say before. The good news, we've got great kids. The bad news is we got great kids. That they sometimes are do not have that. Don't come in and just like this. Got to get this done today type of attitude. They embrace the growth mindset. So he's growing through it, and he's getting better. He's going like this in his. In that category, but wait till a year from now, or wait till the end of the season. I think you'll see even tougher, grittier young man.
Anybody else?
Defensively, these last few games, you said took a little bit of a dip.
No.
I guess watching the tape, was it anything you could?
Yeah, the attention to detail was really that Flowers we did not. There's some people like that we played in a two plus or a 3 gap. We played them in a 2 gap all day long, and so you just my analogy to the team is just I didn't see Carson Edwards get this open. Carson Edwards never got open. He never had that, whether we switch or whatever. But all of a sudden, Flowers is better than Carson Edwards, right? And that's sort of was the message, right? What was it? Kobe White did not get this open, right? And that's the way we have to have mentality. No matter who we're playing, we have to have that mentality.
And can you speak to the plan for the players after this game going home?
Yeah, we have to have these extra days off. So normally we have to have was it 14 extra days off a year. So normally we'd practice tomorrow morning or Sunday morning and send them home, but we're just gonna let them go home. With a 4 o'clock game, if their parents are here, I hope some of them get out of here. I actually think some of them get a flight out late that night, thank goodness, to Detroit Airport. And so, and then they're coming back the 27th at night, where we'll have, that way we'll have get them here and then have 2-day prep for Binghamton. And then 3-day prep or something for Big Ten schedule.
All right, Coach,
Okay,
that's very
thanks, this will be easier for everybody tomorrow, so.